Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast here at Kari's, and we're got some pretty special guests with us today. So we'll kick it over here. Dirk, who do we have here with you?
So we have our significant others. This is my beautiful, most amazing woman on the planet. This is my fiance, Bekah. And Ryan, who do you got?
She's helped me birth 2 children, so most people know you by now. So, and I told her, I'm probably going to make an announcement. I want a 3rd one on this podcast. So she's still on the no train.
Comment below.
This is Brittney. So my everything. So thank you. Yeah, so,
well, to start off, if we could actually I'm really hungry. So if we could maybe pray for this meal.
Yes.
Bekah, would you be willing to? All right, I will pray. God, thank you for just another day, for who you are and for how you bless us. God, I just pray for this time together. Thank you for our awesome significant others here and how grateful we are for them. God, I just pray that you continue to bless us, that you bless this podcast, and that you bless this food to us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. So there's obviously a popularity contest at this test, and you're losing.
Oh, 100. What's going on?
So again, we're at Kari's, right?
Yep.
And we all read the menu. Very expensive, very good menu. And there's a unanimous decision of getting the pesto rosso, and Dirk got spaghetti and meatballs.
Listen. I don't know what pesto rosso is, and I do know what spaghetti is. So went safe, So yeah. So how about today for the podcast?
Yeah. Do something a little different.
Why don't we just kind of ask you guys some questions?
Yeah.
So that way I can eat and. Maybe you'll have leftovers.
This is the theme of this podcast. Dirk gets to eat and Ryan answers all the questions. So I like this. We can direct it over to them.
So I guess, Bekah, we will start with you. You look beautiful today, by the way. And,
they're not married yet.
Tell us.
Hey, you got ready today. Good job.
Put makeup on.
Tell us about yourself. Tell us, obviously I know all about you, but tell us, for the people that are watching, tell us who you are and maybe about Brielle, about what you do, etc.
Got a pesky fly. Get out of here.
So I'm an awkward homeschooled child, and I have a 9-year-old daughter. She's wild. Dirk knows that.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah, I like to write, dance.
What do you do for work?
I'm a cosmetologist. It's a very underrated career, I would say.
Why do you say that?
Because I think I've done pretty well for myself.
Good.
So.
Actually, I'm curious, what does doing well for yourself in that career look like? Because I actually just got a salon client last night.
Oh, yeah. So we don't always claim all of our income, so.
Just like realtors.
I write it all off.
No, not our tips, but no, I've been really good at saving money, and I think just like connecting with people, it's a way to connect with people, and I get to know people's lives, I get to know mine, because I'm seeing them every 4 to 8 weeks.
True.
So
I think people talk to their cosmetologists like they don't talk to other people.
Yeah.
Like I bet you hear like crazy stories.
Like I feel like they're more open than like to a therapist.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
People say some wild things.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
So you said one other thing. You're a saver. I know that dude's a saver. So in your relationship, who's the spender?
I think my assets are larger than.
Oh!
We're gonna cut that part out.
No, Dirk spends all his money on me, so I can't complain.
Yeah. Yep.
That made you smile. That was good.
I don't spend much, but I do spend quite a bit on you guys. So
That's good.
a lot on food. I've learned that
Well, you're both
in
homeowners.
any relationship, you have to just keep your girls fed, and that'll make them happy, hopefully. So every 2 to 3 hours, you know. But
It's every. Hey,
So-
Bekah, DoorDash is going to be at your house in the next couple of minutes.
Pretty much.
so tell us. This is a real estate podcast as well. Tell us about your home ownership journey.
Yeah, when I was 24, I had just had Brielle, my daughter, and I was it was like the dead of winter. In all of January and February, I was running around in the snow, and the snow was like waist deep back then. I found a house in Kalamazoo. It was kind of the crash of the market, so I got a really great deal on a house, but wasn't in the most safest part of Kalamazoo. So I stayed there, I think, for like 4 years, sold that, made a profit, and then was able to buy a house back in my hometown in Gobles.
Nice.
So I'm like close to my parents. So yeah,
That's good.
2-time homeowner before the age of 30.
She's a property flipper and she didn't know it.
Yep.
Exactly.
And I didn't have to do anything to my first house. I just sold it as it was.
Yeah.
Our very first home purchase, I tried to convince Brittney to buy a house on Wilson here in Granville. Needed full gut job, full renovation. What
It was like 2 months before we got married. I don't remember what I told you.
basically tell me.
It was like, yeah, complete gut.
Yeah.
And I was like, we're getting married in 2 months. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Smart.
It's right by the mall, though.
yeah. Yeah.
And me, I was like, no, there's dollar signs all over. This is the best opportunity we're going to see. Like,
Yes. Yep. Yep.
I was like, I can make more flipping that house than I will the next 2 years working where I am.
Have you driven by that house since?
Oh, yeah. And it's actually not that much better than the way I had such a better vision for that.
I'm like, and you're going to do the work with what time?
Back then, I would have made the time.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So Brittney, to turn it over to you. What do you currently do? For those that don't know, and then how did you start marrying this guy over here? How did you decide like this was the guy for you? How did that come about?
Oh boy. Well, I work for him.
No, you work for our company.
I work for Prichard Properties, and then I also do social media for Blue Beacon. So anything that they get under contract, I post on social media, Facebook, Instagram. That's for all the agents. I also do like client care stuff for Prichard Properties. I plan all of their events, like their annual Whitecaps game. I plan, which is like sending out all the invites, and then the boat dinner that we did last year, I sent out all the invites for that.
Yes.
Kind of organized all of that, which I love doing.
Yeah.
So, and then we also have 2 kids at home that I handle.
Good.
So, 4-year-old and a 5.5-month-old. So I'm also doing that on top of it.
Wow.
So whenever they have a minute of quiet is when I get to work,
Oh gosh.
It's true.
which is few and far between these days.
Yep.
But yeah, I love it. It's busy, it's chaotic, but it's enjoyable.
It is.
So I actually was single for about 3 years before he asked me out on a date. And he called me one night. And
He didn't text you, he called you?
No, he called me. And I
Just
sent
wait,
him to
it gets
voicemail.
Oh.
Yeah, and I was like, why the heck is Ryan Prichard calling me? Like, I've never talked to him. Why is he calling
What were
me?
you feeling at the time?
I'll let her finish and then I'll tell you.
And so he left me a message, and my then brother-in-law and sister were like, listen to it with me. And they were like, he's gonna ask her out on a date. I'm like, no. Like, I'm not ready for that. And so
You told them, no, he just wants me to make
I'm like,
cookies
he
for
just
a
wants,
group or something.
yeah, he just wants me to help make cookies for our church's college group. I'm like, and he's like, well, I'll see you at church tomorrow. I just have a question to ask you. I'm like, okay, whatever. So then church the next day, I'm literally the last person out. I'm like nervous all church service because I'm like, well, maybe he is going to ask me out. I don't know if I'm ready for this. Sure enough, I walk out with my parents and he shook my dad's hand and he goes, can I take your daughter out on a date? I'm like, oh,
Wow.
okay.
Ballsy. I
Yeah.
like it.
Straight up. I called her that night just because I wanted to make sure she was going to be at church the next day.
Yeah.
I don't remember what I was going to say, but I know that was going to be my question for her.
Were you nervous?
So I'm sitting. So that was when Chris and I were hanging out like a lot, and I started picking up extra shifts at Palermo Pizza, just to make more money to build up some, reserve. Because Logan and I bought a house, and I've always been that type that's going to hustle and get ahead, right? Well, the other part is there was another guy in our college ministry that I could see the way he was staring at her, and I could see that he might make a move, and I was like,
Who was it?
I'm not going to say on the podcast.
I want to know.
So I was just like, I think he's interested in her too.
Was it Dirk?
No, we're like childhood friends. That's weird.
Literally, yeah, like brothers, sisters, like we grew up together.
So
Like 3 years old.
Yep.
well, it's like the night that week before that other guy had cleaned off your car, and I was like, you don't even know, I'm about to ask her out. Like, once I get confident about something, I just get really confident about something. So,
Yeah.
and I told Chris the night before, I was like, I'm going to call her just to make sure she's at church. He's like, yeah, do that. And I don't remember what our other conversation was, but like leading up to that week, that was when we were doing Tuesday mentoring lunches with all the guys.
Yeah.
And after that, I walked out. I said, hey, Nick, I'm really interested in Brittney. I don't want to do anything that's going to mess up our group or anything, but like, I'm going to ask her out on a date. And he asked me a few other questions. I was like, so Lexi knew.
I feel like I knew too.
Knew
You
the
might have.
whole time.
Yeah. And that was my test to see, like, can I really trust Nick with a deep secret?
Failed the test.
No. I said you could share it with Lexi. So,
Okay.
Because he needed to ask Lexi for my phone number.
Oh. Well done. Okay.
So I was like, you know what? I slept great that day, and I woke up and I knew I was like, I'm going to church. I don't even remember what the message of the church was about that day.
Nope, me either.
But I do remember asking her, and then we drove for like, we got lunch.
We went to Uccello's.
Yeah, you
for
tell us.
lunch.
This isn't a story about me.
Yeah, we went to Uccello's for lunch. Because
That day?
because I still lived with my parents.
Okay.
And we rode together to church and stuff like
Yeah,
that. And he's
yep.
like, oh, I'll just drive you. Little did I know he lived right across the road
Yeah, my first starter house I bought across like the road
from my parents. Yeah.
Yep.
And so we went to Uccello's to eat, and he's like, you want to go drive around for a little bit? I really like to drive around. I'm like, me too. And he asked me what I wanted to do with my life and all this stuff, and I was like, I really want to be a stay-at-home mom. And he's like, well, that's what I really want in a wife. And I was like, okay, this is a deep first date. But then we went and drove around, and he showed me where he worked, which was out here in Allendale.
Yeah.
And then we went to my house, and we walk in the front door, and there is that other guy
Randomly in their house,
at my parents' house, hanging out with my brother-in-law.
having lunch with her parents. And I walk in.
I need to know who this guy is.
I walk in and I'm just like, you're late. Whoa.
Yeah.
I fell over on the chair.
That is crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
See a little competition. Oh wow, let's go.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So yeah, then we hung out at my house, at my parents' house. We played cards, and then that night we went to college group and walked in together, and everyone was like,
I remember being pumped. Yeah.
oh, it's funny.
I don't think it was too long after that. A week later, I said, you want to be my girlfriend?
Yeah.
Yes.
Gotcha. try some of this last little bit?
Nah, those are your leftover bites, so no,
Yeah.
not so much.
Oh yeah,
She's
you
like,
want to
I
try some
literally
too?
didn't touch this side.
Right.
Yeah, I'd love to try some.
All right, we're about halfway through the podcast. Let's rate these dishes. I think Dirk liked his.
He was hungry.
There's more than that.
Yeah. So
It was. I'll go. But he was good. Yeah, I would say not the best spaghetti I've ever had.
okay.
But it was good. Yeah. I actually think I like this better.
Oh,
So.
because this has got spice to it. So
Yeah, it's got a little bit of a kick.
I know, I can sense
It's
that.
cheesy too.
Yeah,
Very
just-
cheesy.
So what was your take on this?
I thought it was really good. I didn't really know what I was getting from the description. It's a little hard to read, but stop.
Thankfully, they pick up really well. So.
I give it a 9 out of 10.
Woo! 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
You got to rate yours.
Oh, I'll give it a 7 out of 10.
Is it 'cause
Solid.
Is it because my spaghetti is better?
Yeah, that definitely like
Yeah. Before you
the
had,
regret factor. Was
yeah. So before you had taken a bite, what was your? Would it have been an 8?
I mean, obviously it was good. Like I ate it. I was hungry, but I don't know. I guess it's like I wouldn't like crave it the next day. If that makes sense. That's why I would say 7 or 8. Like it was very good. Like nothing wrong with it. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like I'm next week gonna be like, babe, we need to go back to the cars. That's like it wasn't.
See,
that.
that's what
So
that's what I say about this
this
dish. Is like,
Yeah.
this would be more. I'd be like, that was really good. So.
she's so
You're gonna
smiling.
have some more.
So can you say that? Love you.
I mean, I'm not paying for it.
Yeah, there you go.
Very, very true.
As much as you want.
Good point. Good point. So what about you guys? What would you rate yours?
I'll let Britt go first.
I like this dish. I got it last time we came here, but I don't do the sausage.
Yeah.
But it still has that kick to it. So I don't know if it's in like the sauce.
Red
But
pepper
I'd say
first, yeah.
probably an 8 or a 9. I mean, I love pasta, so.
So they put your extra sausage on mine. Don't do that. Like that's a lot of sausage. So this is a 10 out of 10 without the extra sausage. So, so having worked for Italian restaurants, like true Italian restaurants, they always told me you put too much sauce in American dishes on pizza dishes or on pasta dishes. So
Interesting.
for an authentic Italian-made dish with the perfect complement of red sauce with the pesto sauce and bringing that together with the cheese, that's what makes this a 10 out of 10.
Incredible.
He came back for seconds of her dish. So second half of this, let's do some. Let's test them on real estate knowledge
Yes.
and see. You know, if you had to be a real estate or a mortgage loan officer tomorrow, what do you know from your significant other?
Oh boy.
Oh wow.
Like,
All right. Well, all right. Put you guys on the spot. What are the current, just rough estimate of what the current 30-year interest rate is at right now?
yeah, that's a good one.
I'd say in the
7.
7% range.
Look at that knowledge drop. That's pretty close.
Pretty close. Yeah. It's 7s to 8s. Yep.
Yeah.
So, very, very good. All right. What is the? I'm just gonna do the lender side of things for a second.
Yep.
What's the minimum down payment requirement for a conventional
20%. Is it 20?
minimum down payment requirement?
Minimum
5?
0.
0.
For a conventional?
For conventional,
Really?
it's 5% unless you're a first-time home buyer.
Yeah,
then it's
first-time home
3%.
buyer.
There are programs that are 0%. 20% is recommended a lot of times because of the PMI. So
But
you guys are in the
that's really good though, because the
Yeah.
common misconception from a lot of consumers is I have to raise a large down payment.
you don't.
You don't have to.
Yep.
It's just your payment's better if you do have 20%.
Yes.
Risk factors.
Yes. Yep. Do you have any questions?
So, what is the highest return? So, if you were going to stage a house or get a house ready to sell, what's the one thing that you can recommend a client to do that has a more than 100% return on it? Like, you should make this change in your house, and it'll make you more money.
Painting it white.
Just painting. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is one other thing that you can get a very high return on that isn't painting?
Taking out a lot of like the furniture and clutter and
Decluttering. Yeah.
Yeah, like taking stuff off the walls so they can see themselves in the house. Yeah.
Look at you guys.
And then there's one other very high return.
the yard work. Yard work.
Yeah.
Hired. So so interior design, right? Whether or not it's staging, carpet, painting, and then the declutter. But then between 7 and 15% higher return if you have a light landscaping package as well. So those are the things. So if you're looking to do a full kitchen remodel, you might only get 50 to 70% of your dollars back on it.
What is the best time to buy?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Well, I guess going off personal, I think it's like late fall and late winter.
Yeah, I'd say spring.
Winter and late fall. I think the interest rates are lower in fall and winter.
Interest rates aren't different, but what do you think, Ryan? What would you say?
So it's fun to hear your perspective on that.
Yeah.
Because the common misconception, so it depends on what lens you're putting on it. I actually agree with your sentiment. The best time to buy is in the fall because you can negotiate better as a buyer. But the best time to buy was 10 years ago. That's the way I say it.
Yes.
The next best time to buy is today.
No. Yes.
That's what we say. But from a consumer, I think you're right. Best time to buy is now.
Now, spring is the busiest time.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because the market's kind of coming back. Roads aren't filled with snow, but on top of that, obviously, if you buy in the fall, the negative is for a lot of people is if you have kids in school and you're switching and there's holidays in the fall too. So that's why spring is more convenient for a lot of people.
Well, and in
which is
spring
nice.
and summer, if you're not sure about the neighborhood,
Yeah.
that's what I ran into with my first house because I bought it in the winter, and I did not realize all of the theft and like
Yes.
criminal rates.
And like
down
people aren't
there,
out in
crime
the
rate
winter,
down
so
there.
you can't really see.
Yeah, you don't know
people.
who's around you.
And things
Yeah.
can be covered up, right? The roofs can be covered in snow,
Yep.
Yeah.
things like that. So.
Yeah. Who is, if you had to pick, who is your favorite podcast host? The hesitation. This does scare me a little bit.
Yeah, I do, for sure.
Dave Ramsey.
Oh, sorry. This podcast.
Is this a trick question?
We'll talk later.
If she's Miss Universe, you better be Mr. Universe.
Exactly. So, well,
That's some fun knowledge.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for joining us, and
Girls.
thank you. Yeah, appreciate you both.
Thanks for
And
paying for our lunch.
You're
Oh,
you're welcome.
Thanks for organizing this.
Yeah.
We
wait,
planned more
wait.
for this than you guys
We have
have.
one more question to ask them.
Go for it.
We need a name for this podcast, so we're going to direct that. And whether or not you have a response, if you watch this long, we want something other than the Ryan and Dirk Lunch podcast. That's so. We gotta grow this.
Yes, agreed.
We also want to develop a strategy around it of continuing to bring people on. So if you're going to bring people onto this podcast, rename it, focused around professionals, real estate. Like I even really like asking a first-time home purchase question. It's like,
Yes.
so thoughts.
Yes.
I do think bringing people in would be really cool. Like maybe set like a flipper, like their experience, or like an interior designer.
Yeah.
Like you guys obviously know people,
Yeah.
so you have connections in that way. Or like an inspection, like what are the typical? I think you could ask them really good questions that people want to know about.
Yeah.
Or like, I'm looking at it as like a social media side. Like I think people like to know like, okay, here's what people think. Okay, here's like a truth and a lie or whatever.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. I like that.
from like the people that you bring on.
Yeah, agreed. Do you guys have any ideas for a name that we could call this? Anything?
Don't use your funny one.
Yeah, you said one earlier.
I don't have one then.
You have one, Bekah?
I would have to think about it. 'Cause I feel like it should be a little punny with the industry that you're in.
And we're really dry humor.
Yeah, I looked up yesterday. I thought of the name like Real Talk, Real Estate, Real Talk, but it's already taken.
That's kind of
Kind of genius, I know, but it's already taken. So
Sounds
Kinda
original,
boring,
like someone
kinda
already
boring.
has it. Burned.
well, all right. Well, is there anything else that before we wrap things up that we want to know from these?
3 kids? 3 kids? Oh.
Well, I guess in that case, we'll kind of wrap things up. But for you guys, thank you for watching. And this is our why. Part of our why, obviously, like Jesus is our top why. We want to serve God and we want to honor Him with everybody that we help. But on top of that, these are the people that we really love and care about and we want to support, and the futures that we want to support too. And so, because of that, they're not cheap. So please give us leads. Please help us.
We're okay being expensive. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, come on now. But all seriousness, guys, we appreciate you. We do appreciate your referrals. It's one of the best gifts that you can give us. We are 100% commission. So have a great week. Have a great day. If you have any questions, any ideas for a name, put that in the comments for us. But I think that's it for today.
That's it for today. Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Great weekend. Have a great weekend.
See ya.